I'm back at last. I've been working on the Ultimate Starter set, but I've been dividing my hobby time between that project and my Red Demon army. The last couple of weeks though, I've put all the available resources into finishing the demons, since I will be touring the tournament scene with those bad boys this winter. Here's a little sneak peek on that army from a recent tournament. Well, the demons are done, so I can now focus on this, the Warhammer 40k Ultimate Starter set. If you're new here, first of all, welcome. In the last video I assembled everything in the starter set, which took a lot longer than I want to admit. I also primed the Space Marines black. And that's where we pick up this project, by applying a layer of dark sea grey on top of the black primer. I know what you are thinking. Surely you could just have primed them grey? Well, yes. It's not just any grey, it's dark sea grey. That's a grey with a hint of blue and green in it. And I had no primer like that. So it looks like I'm buying more paint, because I don't have enough. When that's applied and dried to all the Space Marines, the next step is a black wash with Nuln oil. And that pretty much concludes our work on the black parts between the armor panels. I already have a couple of Space Marines, and I'll continue with the same paint scheme on these guys. In just a couple of decades or so I'll have a whole army of them. Maybe. The armor will be red, so we don't start with red, we start with brown. I use heavy sienna from Vallejo here, but you can use whatever warm reddish brown you have, should you want to try this paint scheme out for yourself. I apply it with a little bit of a stippling motion to the center of the armor panels, avoiding the edges. Keep the paint thin and go over the areas again if necessary. When all the armor panels are covered, the space dude should look brown, because it is brown. Lovely. Notice the contrast between the cold dark grey and the warm brown. That's what we want. When that's done, we do the exact same thing again. With red, because I want red Space Marines. Not brown. Once again, we work with very thin paint. We don't want to cover everything, just enough so that the miniature looks red. This will create a very worn look, where the paint job on the armor look badly chipped, at least in theory. When that's done, we do it again with a lighter red. and focus on the places that would receive more light. Rinse and repeat until you are satisfied. The next step is the metallics. I cover the guns and emblems with gunmetal, then I dry brush it on the dark grey edges. This will finish the illusion of badly shipped armor. Hopefully. That's pretty much the main steps, but let's do some details. I paint the flamer fuel tanks in a bright yellow-orange. When that is done, I give the guns and the fuel tanks a brown wash. Agrax Earthshade makes everything cool AF. Wooden stocks and grips on the guns makes for another fun little detail. When I have the brown here, I also base coated the paper strips on all the purity seals, or whatever those are. These new Space Marines really have been busy winning awards. Time to paint the helmets for the Terminators. I began with base coating them with dark sea grey again to cover up any stains from the previous paint steps. Then I added a cold bluish white to the grey and made some highlights. I also used this lighter grey to highlight some of the grey areas, mainly on the Terminator's tubular things on the armor. I don't know about you, but I've never used the word tubular in a sentence before. Tubular. It's a fun word, tubular. Tubular. It sounds made up. For some reason I lost the rest of the footage, where I did all the smaller details, like gold trim and eyes and stuff. But you are probably tired of seeing me painting tiny things anyway, and probably won't mind if I skip directly to the glamour shots. This paint technique is very simple, but payoff is great. And these will look great on the battlefield. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. In upcoming videos I'll paint the bugs as well, and then at some point we'll test this game for real with a little battle report or something. So stay tuned.